everybody? Jeremy Murphy, Fire Fitness Training. Today I'm going to send you a little quick video, right? Just about training in and of itself. Some ideas, some philosophies, pontifications that I have, if you will. So, as you know, when it comes to the fitness world, there's not a whole lot that's new, it's brand spanking new in the realm. You got dumbbells, kettlebells, you got barbells, TRX, right? So you'll find a lot of the same stuff regardless of the gym you go to or the trainer you work with, a lot of the same tools. That being the case, the only thing that really changes, that can really matter, is that trainer's philosophy, their approach, or whatever approach that you kind of grab onto that makes sense to you. So with that said, I want to tell you a little bit about fire fitness training and our approach. Number one, core comes first. If the core is strong, ta-da! If the core is strong, right, everything else can be strong, provided that the instruction and the quality of movement is good, right? So core comes first, right? Without that, in my opinion, nothing else really works. That's number one. Number two, quality over quantity, right? How well you move and how the quality of how you do a movement is much more important than the weight or the reps, right? So I like to do a lot of HIIT training and running around and fast stuff. But if I have my clients, I see something where their form is starting to dip, I say, ho, let's take a minute, take a step back, let's take a breather, whatever the case, right? It's good to push, but you gotta push with quality. But then the last thing is, that a lot of people don't talk about, or at least talk about enough in my opinion, is what your body can do is far more important than how your body looks. Now, if you're a personal trainer like me, you got to put some advertising out there, and you got to talk about lean muscle mass. You got to use some buzzwords, core, and those are things that I really do work on and emphasize. Lean muscle mass, athletic bodies, to get people's attention, to rein them in. But once I get them in front of me, I want to express that all that stuff is nice. How you look is nice, and we want to work on that, continue to work on that. But let's not forget about what you can do. I have a whole lot of people that I can mention that I've met or worked with that may not look I think they look amazing, but they may not look the way they want to look, but their fitness level is phenomenal. And I'm not talking about 20-year-olds, I'm talking about people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that can do stuff that people half their age can't do, right? So when you're in the gym, my whole point is when you're in a gym and you're training, and especially if you have a trainer that you feel is intelligent, cares about you, I want you to consider emphasizing not as much what you look like in sizing your gluteus maximus and do you have 16-inch biceps and are your love handles gone? All that stuff is important. I get it. We all want to look good, feel good about ourselves, but let's not forget about feeling good about what you can do, how well you move, how much weight you can lift that other people can't do, how strong you are, because that translates. That translates into how you interact with your family, how active you are if you have young kids, how active you are if you want to go out on a date, you want to go to Six Flags, how many steps you can walk, how good you feel, does your body break down, can you keep up, all those things. It seems like kind of almost trite, but it makes a very big deal, okay? I'll give you one small example real quick. I have a young lady that I work with. She just turned like 48 recently. She told me last year she had this story. She came into the gym, we were training. I know her very well, so she had kind of a look on her face. Something wasn't quite right with her, but I kind of let it go. Halfway through the session, she said, okay, Jeremy, I want to tell you something. My body's fine. This is on a Tuesday. She said, my body's fine, but over the weekend, I had a little incident. I was working with my son. I was cutting his nails. He's feeling kind of faint, right? I accidentally cut his finger. Some blood came out, and all of a sudden, he just kind of fainted. He's one of those people, he doesn't like to see his own blood, right? Understandable. He fainted, right? And so her child, he's like 13 years old, right? 11 to 13 years old. And so she caught him, right? They're in the bathroom. She caught him before he fell into the tub, before his head banged on the tub, right? She caught him in an awkward position. Then she had to call her husband. Her husband came. The kid hit his head a little bit. So her husband came, grabbed the kid. The kid's passed out. They took him to the ER, took her child to the ER. This is all real story. This all really happened. She's telling me, right? Took her child to the ER. She has 3 boys. This is the middle child. Took the child to the ER. She's at home. Her back is aching. She's hurting. She's wondering if she's going to be out of commission for the entire weekend. She remembered the stuff we talked about when it comes to recovery. Rice, rest, ice, compression, elevation. She did all those things, right? That was on a Saturday. She felt better on Sunday. She was 100% on Monday, and I saw her on Tuesday. Like nothing happened. And so I talked to her, and she said, what helped me was not only the recovery things we talked about, but just having worked on our deadlift and worked on our squats and just working on my strength gave me the ability and the reflexes, not only the reflexes to catch my son, but to hold him up long enough for the rest of the family to come and help me. Those kinds of things you may not think about, like some kind of weird accident happening at the household, but things do happen. And so you have to be ready. You have to have the strength, the reflexes, the wherewithal to be ready when something happens. And that's a large part of what fitness gives you that you may not be thinking about emphasizing. So keep in mind, it's not only about how ripped you are and how big your gluteus maximus is and all this stuff that you see on Instagram and everybody running around looking hot, okay? With their pigeon, like that, okay? It's more about what your body can do, the quality of your life, because that is priceless. Okay guys, think about that, keep that in mind. I'll catch you on the next one.